Yeah, I'm sure Putin already has my picture.
По-русски? Ну почему вы говорите по-русски? Откуда у вас?
Коммунизм сильно изменил мышление.
Everyone's Ukrainian, everyone's Russian here. Half the Russians I know here have Ukrainian last names.
When I think of San Francisco, I think of the foggy Golden Gate Bridge, steep hills, homelessness, and the fentanyl crisis. I don't usually think of Russians, or at least I didn't, until someone told me that I could find a Russian neighborhood somewhere in the northwestern corner of the city. So join me on this unscripted journey through Russian San Francisco, and we'll see what we can find. Okay, so I found my first Russian speakers. The guy didn't really seem like he wanted to talk on camera, but he recommended that I go to this place called, he said Europa Plus or Europa Plus. It's a Russian grocery store, I think, nearby. So I'm gonna go over there and see if I can talk to some people. There's the store, Europa Plus. Europa Plus. Okay, look, it is in Russian. Но я здесь, в русском магазине, и мой друг... как тебя зовут?
Алекс.
Меня зовут Брайсон, но мое русское имя Борис.
Очень приятно.
Да, очень приятно. И много людей здесь. Many people here speak Russian. У меня есть сейчас русский квас. Я хочу покупать.
99 наличка.
Нет?
У нас минимум $15 потребуется.
А почему вы говорите по-русски? Откуда у вас?
Я изучал русский язык в университете в Северной Каролине.
Ничего себе.
Круто.
Ты очень хорошо говоришь.
Спасибо, очень. Как тебя зовут?
Ирина. А тебя?
Ирина? Борис. No, Брайсон.
А у тебя родители откуда?
Америка.
Да? А
Да.
бабушки, дедушки?
Нет, я не русский. Я.
Интересно.
Да, вы так хорошо говорите, это так удивляет.
Спасибо. Но очень приятно. Все.
Я тоже.
A little bit sweet. Very good. Очень вкусно. Always such friendly people. When you speak Russian, the friendliness just comes naturally. And they said that I should go to this Russian church. So let's go. They said there's going to be a lot of different generations of people, and we'll see if that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure Putin already has my picture.
I came to the Russian church where the Russian marketplace owners told me to go, and it's this beautiful kind of, you know, traditional like Slavic design for the church. What was your name again, sir?
Tikhon.
Tikhon.
My
Tikhon?
Russian name, my American name is Ryan.
Ryan. Well, очень приятно. You've been here for a long time serving the Russian community.
Yeah, I've been in college. I studied Russian and religion at the same time, Russian religion and religion in general, and international studies. I lived in Russia for a little while and been with the Russian church since I was in college.
How big is the congregation here?
There's probably on a good Sunday about 40-some people.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
40-some people. Most of our parish in San Francisco are fairly small. They're fairly small. But there's a lot of them. At one time, there was maybe 6 or 7 parishes.
Wow.
And this was San Francisco was one of the magnets or the landing places for a lot of the Russians who came from the Far East after the revolution, especially those that were in China, came here and founded many parishes throughout the neighborhood. There's a lot of Russian history here, dating back before the revolution too, with Russian sailors coming here, the Russian Fort Ross right up the coast, not too far, and the traders that came down from Alaska. So there's a lot of Russian and Russian Orthodoxy heritage in San Francisco.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
One of the ladies at the Russian market told me that there were people that came all the way from Shanghai to see this church.
Yes, yeah, and actually maybe people come and travel to see this church from around the world, and also Holy Virgin Cathedral on Geary, which is the relics of one of our local saints who actually was in Shanghai. He was a bishop of Shanghai, and he helped 3,000 or 5,000 Russians, white Russians, get out of China before the Red Army kind of took over.
Wow.
And they went to the Philippines first, and then some of them got to America. So
wow.
Yeah.
I'd heard about the expat communities in Australia and China.
Yes. They're all kind of interrelated. Yes.
I never knew that there was one, you know, here as well.
Yeah, about 5,000 came to the West Coast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you say that San Francisco is like the main area?
It's the hub. Yeah,
Okay.
It's the hub.
And I lived in Russia for almost 10 years. I lived in St. Petersburg.
И что ты думаешь об русских людей, которые живут в Сан-Франциско?
Ну, есть как бы там русские, которые приехали давным-давно, вот, и особенно во время как бы существования Советского Союза, и это именно они, которые основали многие русские организации здесь и построили все храмы. И потом есть, конечно, многие русские, которые, ну, или русскоговорящие люди, которые приехали после падения Советского Союза в 90-х годах. И они тоже, конечно, многие магазины здесь. И, конечно, есть, вот именно сейчас есть третья иммиграция, это в основном это либеральные молодые люди, как бы образованные программисты, которые приехали сюда, ну, в основном, как бы здесь строить благополучную жизнь, так сказать. Ну так, мы общаемся друг с другом, но культура, конечно, очень различается. То есть между русскими людьми, которые приехали, ну, скажем, например, из Китая, вот у них не было никогда никакого контакта с Советским Союзом. Коммунизм сильно изменил мышление и людей. Когда я поехал в Россию, вот я понял, что, наверное, те люди, которые как бы больше всего сохранили вот эту русскую культуру, это именно те, которые остались в России, которые не стремились уезжать. Это из России.
She's listening, yeah.
Я увидел, что много китайские магазины здесь, в этом районе.
Да.
И эти китайские людей живут русскими или не?
Не, ну мы все живем вместе, мы все общаемся, мы все вот... Ну, моя мама приехала из Китая, вот, и бабушка тоже родилась в Китае, и прабабушка там жили много лет.
И они говорят китайский язык?
Мой дедушка говорил по-китайски и японский, в том числе даже он.
Да.
Мой дядя, он жил в Китае до 10-летнего возраста, так что он тоже, когда был маленький, он свободно говорил по-китайски, то есть, ну, на мандаринском языке.
At this point, Tikhon told me he wanted to walk me over to the local cathedral. He gave me permission to film our conversation about his life as an American-born Russian Orthodox priest in the United States since the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine.
I bump into people that you never think would be speaking Russian, and they do. Like people are from Mongolia here, and they're speaking Russian fluently. It's like, what? Wow. But yeah, you can travel that whole region of the world, and even to Eastern Europe, where they were under Soviet control for a long time.
Right.
Even if they weren't in the Soviet Union, with Russian you can get by. Everyone wanted to meet us and everything, and there's a hope. I just saw the grassroots work that people are doing in Russia, restoring churches, restoring things, learning about their past, trying to recreate what was broken. It was really inspiring.
Wow.
And now it seems to kind of ossified, and everything is structured and controlled. It's not that grounds root anymore. That a lot of vibrancy, whether it was democracy or in the church. I was glad I went in the 90s. It's tragedy on so many different levels, this war. I think it's actually destroyed so much of the soul of Russia. A lot of Russians here feel a lot of shame. A lot of shame. And there's just so much an interplay. I mean, everyone's Ukrainian and everyone's Russian here. It's such a mix, you know, and half the Russians I know here have Ukrainian last names. Yeah. Hichenko, Shevchenko, Ko. You see the domes of the
Oh, look at that. You got the onion dome.
Yeah, I took you on the special walk.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
When the war broke out, how was that for you and your congregation? Was there...
Well, I'm American in a Russian church.
Right.
A lot of people are saying it's like your child being Ukrainian and your mother or your uncle or whoever is a relative of the Russians are beating you up. So the war started, all of us started praying for peace immediately, praying for protection of Ukraine, the hostilities against Ukraine to stop. We immediately put out relics of Ukrainian saints and an icon that was given to us, the parish from the cathedral was given to us by the Metropolitan of Kiev, Onufry, and people started bringing bouquets of sunflowers into the church. But I have friends in the Ukrainian church that won't speak to any Russians now.
Oh, no.
And I don't blame them. I absolutely don't blame them. I can understand.
Right.
I don't say I agree with it, but I can understand why they would cut ties.
Especially in this part of San Francisco, you can just see very clearly, like looking at this cathedral.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows the influence of Russian culture on this area.
St. John, who's buried here, he was born in Ukraine, near Kharkov area, the eastern side, and
Where all the fighting is happening today.
the village where he lived, there was a monastery built in his honor there. It unfortunately has been burned down during the war.
Oh, look at that. Sorry. But говорим по-русски, we speak Russian. So this really is like a Russian area.
A good shot of the cathedral here.
This is, any other street in San Francisco, but then you just have the huge onion domes.
Exactly.
It's very cool.
And there's been Russians too that have been coming, young Russians who don't want to fight this war, they're against the war here. And we help them find housing and support. And there's the sign.
It does have the old Church Slavonic on top. It's in the old, Slavonic, yeah.
This is the largest Russian cathedral in the Western Hemisphere, and it's special because we have full relics of St. John, who was in Shanghai and then rode from Kiev, from Ukraine, Shanghai, into America. And there's 3 altars here, and there's a lot of old icons. We have a Bible that belonged to Tsar Nicholas. His writing. We have an icon of Tsar Nicholas over here that has a piece of the Patiev house where they're martyred. Wow, in there. And there's banners from the Russian Imperial Army and all kinds of things.
This was a really great moment when, because we couldn't film on the floor of the cathedral, Tikhon took me up to a private viewing balcony so that I could film the Orthodox chanting and singing and praying.
Gogol, his book on the Divine Liturgy, he's a satirist, but he actually wrote a really wonderful description of the Divine Liturgy.
I never would have known this was here until I'm so glad that I talked to the people in the Russian store and just, got told to come here.
Ciao!